and get this one underway. Ball is up. The tip is knocked around a couple times and controlled by the Cowgirls. Tiffany Bias with it. Bias clears it up the right side to Atkins. Back over onto the left side to Tiffany Bias. Bias starts in. She's cut off. Back outside. Three-point shot. Top of the key is no good. And the rebound comes down to Hallie Christopherson. Over onto the left wing to Nikki Moody. Moody up the left side with it. Moody. Top of the key to Bryn Williamson. Back over to Jada Buckley. Buckley pulls it back out high with 15 in the shot clock and resets the offense. Buckley down the lane, takes it in. Shot is up, no good, but a foul called, and Buckley's going to the line. That foul is going to be on Brittany Atkins.
Excellent decision there by the freshman, Jada Buckley. She saw that clear side drive, open right up. Take it right to the hole. No, I love that she's not intimidated in that environment whatsoever.
First free throw is up and good. Iowa State has the 1-0 lead at the start.
And for Oklahoma State on the other end, Atkins, also a freshman, not bashful it up at all either about letting it fly from three. Didn't hit, but you love that type of competitiveness by both of those youngsters.
Buckley makes the second one. Cyclones have a 2-0 lead. Up court with it is Tiffany Bias. Bias clears it off to Martin. Back outside, Martin on the left of the key. Martin at the free throw line. Martin tries to go up the left side. Baseline jumper's up. It's no good. And the rebound comes down to Shauna Johnson. Off to Nikki Moody. Moody into the front court with it on the right wing. Moody top of the key to Jada Buckley. Back on the right side to Moody. Moody passes down inside to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie takes it in. Shot is up and good by Hallie Christopherson. Right over the top of LaShawn Jones. And it's a 4-0 Cyclone lead.
And right there you can see Oklahoma State, even on a made Iowa State basket, they're going to push.
Donahoe left side to Bias. Bias down inside to Jones. Back outside to Atkins. Atkins over on the right side to Liz Donahoe. Donahoe out on the right wing to Martin. Martin tries to drive in. Fall-away jumper is up and good.
And Iowa State trying to bring some double teams when a couple of players are catching low on the block area. Doesn't work that time.
Moody left side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie runs the ball back to Nikki Moody. Moody way out on the left wing. Shot clock down to 10. Moody at the top of the key. Back off to Christopherson. Three-pointer is up. It's off, no good. And the rebound will be cleared out of there by Brittany Martin. Up the left side to Atkins. Atkins back to Martin at the top of the key. Over to Bias. Bias out on the right wing. Liz Donahoe. Three-pointer is up. It's no good. And the rebound to Hallie Christopherson. On the left side to Moody. Moody to Christopherson. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody out on the right wing. Puts up the three-pointer. It's off, no good. The rebound underneath, controlled by Brittany Martin for Oklahoma State. Over to Bias. Bias to Donahoe. Back outside to Atkins. Down inside. Traveling is going to be called on LaShawn Jones. Turn over to Iowa State.
Oklahoma State a little cold here to start things off. 1 of 4 from the floor. That'll be their first turnover as well.
Kendra Suttles is going to check in for LaShawn Jones.
Kendra Suttles has started 12 games for Oklahoma State this year. I'm guessing that they didn't start her in this game, maybe because of the little smaller lineup that Iowa State plays. That's why they went with Atkins instead.
Going down the lane is Shauna Johnson, and she loses control of the ball on the drive, and it's out of bounds off Iowa State.
And it looks like Iowa State guards will be able to get to the hoop. This Cowgirl squad, it looks like, at least for now, they're going to stick with shooters. Try not to come off and help too much. Should open up the lane.
Martin at the free throw line. Jumper is up, no good. Rebound, Hallie Christopherson. Cyclones lead at 4-2. Up the left side with it is Nikki Moody. Moody off to Christopherson. Back on the right side to Jada Buckley. Buckley goes out onto the right wing. Holds it up there. Buckley gets it off to Shauna Johnson. Down to 7 on the shot clock. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody spins into the lane. Underneath. Shot up off the glass is good by Nikki Moody on a great spinning move. And it's a 6-2 Iowa State lead.
He just took it right at Tiffany Bias, one of the best defenders in the league.
Martin at the top of the key. Martin, free throw line jumper up and good.
That's going to be a tough matchup there for Shauna Johnson. We didn't talk about that matchup specifically in the pregame, but Brittany Martin had a great freshman year. She is very good, very smooth with that pull-up jumper.
Front court with it is Moody. Off to Shauna Johnson. Johnson back on the right side to Bryn Williamson. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody. Off to Bryn Williamson for three. It's off, no good. The rebound is tipped around, and Shauna Johnson has it for the Cyclones. She'll pull it back out, get it to Jada Buckley. Buckley drives in underneath, gets it to Hallie Christopherson. Loose ball picked up by Bryn Williamson. Three-pointer is up and good. A well-marked three-pointer by Bryn Williamson. And it's a 9-4 Iowa State lead.
That's often when Iowa State gets their best looks from three or out of those scramble situations. It's the beauty of having 5 players on the floor who can knock it down from beyond the arc. You got to pick your poison.
Oklahoma State will inbound it on the baseline. Pass come out high for the Cowgirls. Bias with it. Bias over to Donahoe. Donahoe on the left side to Rashunda Johnson. Back over to Martin. Martin has the ball knocked away, and it's picked up by Bryn Williamson.
Great job, Nikki Moody poking that ball free.
Front court with it is Jada Buckley. Buckley. Guarded out there by Johnson. Buckley, bounce pass off to Shauna Johnson, and she has the ball knocked loose, and it's a turnover to Oklahoma State.
And Brittany Martin leads the league in steals.
Johnson, left side, shot is up, no good. The rebound comes down to Hallie Christopherson. Almost got knocked to the floor, but no foul called. Up the left side with it goes Jada Buckley. Off to Christopherson. Hallie back to Buckley. Cyclones lead at 9-4. Buckley starts up the right side of the lane, out into the corner. Brings it back outside. 10 on the shot clock. Buckley back to Nikki Moody. 6 on the shot clock. Moody drives in, takes it in. Shot is up, no good, but a foul called. And Nikki Moody will go to the line.
More good recognition there for Nikki Moody. Great shot clock awareness, penetrating. Right when that shot clock got to be about 7 or 6. Excellent job by the junior.
Moody at the line to shoot 2. Cyclones with the 5-point lead.
And I think Nikki Moody fully recognized that she was being defended by a freshman there, Rashunda Johnson.
Free throws up and good. Kid Blaskowski will check in the lineup for Shauna Johnson. Second free throw now to Moody. This one's up, and this one's no good. The rebound comes down to Liz Donahoe. 10-4, Iowa State on top. Just over 14 minutes to go yet here in the first half. Out on the left side, the give is to Donahoe. Donahoe out to Martin. Martin out on the right wing to Johnson. Back to Bias, over to Donahoe. Donahoe goes into the lane. Shot is up and good by Donahoe.
Nice little curl cut there by Liz Donahoe, realizing Bryn Williamson trying to chase her off that 3-point line. And excellent decision and read there when you get in chase, curl all the way to the basket. Great little pull-up recognition.
Buckley gets it off on the right to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie on top of the key. Hands it back to Kid Blaskowski. Kid starts to drive in the lane. Underneath, shot is up. It's no good, and the rebound comes down to Oklahoma State. Bias up the left side with it to Johnson. Johnson almost lost it out of bounds. Saves it into Martin, and she's going to be called for a foul.
She carried the basketball,
yeah. Okay. And another turnover on the Cowgirls. Gets it to Iowa State. Cyclones lead at 10-6.
Well, Kid Blaskowski had the right idea on that last offensive possession. She was being defended by LaShawn Jones. They're doing a lot of switching for Oklahoma State, but just a little bit of a push there. A little pressure forced it.
Pass inside to Hallie Christopherson. She's called for traveling. .13:06 to go. First half, 10-6 Cyclones.
Teams trading turnovers there, 3 apiece now.
Atkins checks back in.
Cyclones 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep. They're also 3 of 4 at the stripe. Oklahoma State 3 of 8 from field goal range.
Bias into the front court. Bias left of the key. Shot is up and good. A 2-pointer by Bias, and it's a 2-point ball game. 10-8 Cyclones. Front court with it is Jada Buckley. Right side to Hallie Christopherson. Whistle, foul away from the ball. That foul is going to be on Liz Donahoe.
Liz Donahoe holding Bryn Williamson a little bit there as Bryn looks to cut.
Jada Buckley is going to come out, and checking in will be Fallon Ellis. Moody will inbound it on the baseline. Gets it into Bryn Williamson. Back to Moody. Three-pointers up. No good. The rebound to Fallon Ellis. Out to Christopherson. Back off to Kid Blaskowski. Kid over to Bryn Williamson. Gets it back to Nikki Moody on the right wing. Moody back out to Fallon Ellis. Over to Kid Blaskowski. A three-pointer is up. Misses everything. And the rebound comes down to Bias. Bias. The right side. Whistle and a foul on Iowa State. That foul is going to be on Kid Blaskowski.
A great example there, Tiffany Bias. She's going to push every opportunity she has. They're going to say that this foul is on the shot.
What? That's ridiculous, ref!
Yeah, there's no way that was a shot foul, but...
And now the fans in Hilton realize what the call is, and they're certainly a little vocal about their displeasure.
Bias makes the first free throw. Second one, a chance to tie the game. And she does. It's tied at 10 with 12:20 to go in the first half. Cyclones have been stuck on 10. 6-0 run here by the Cowgirls. Cyclones need a bucket. Nikki Moody to the front court with it. Off to Fallon Ellis at the top of the key. Right side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie. On the right wing, down in the corner to Nikki Moody. Moody starts to drive in on the baseline. Back outside to Fallon Ellis. She drives in on the baseline. Shot is up and good. Nice move on the baseline by Fallon Ellis from this 12-10 Cyclones.
Great little recognition there by Fallon. She tweaked her knee a couple days ago in practice, wearing a pretty hefty knee brace out there.
Left side three-point shot is off, no good. Rebound, follow-up shot is blocked by Christopherson, and the rebound controlled by Iowa State. Moody over on the right side. Bryn Williamson for three. It's off, no good. The rebound tipped around, and the Settles will control it for the Cowgirls. Bias up in the front court, jumpers up and good. A two-pointer ties the game at 12 apiece. Nikki Moody walking it up court for Iowa State. Moody out between the rings, gets it off to Fallon Ellis. She starts to drive into the lane, spin, shot is up and good. Nice move by Fallon Ellis. 14-12. Iowa State with a two-point lead.
Fallon Ellis loved the offensive presence she is bringing to the team in these few minutes.
Tiffany Bias out on the right side with it. Throws it off to Johnson. Johnson starts in. Gets it off to Atkins. Atkins back to Johnson. She'll launch a three-pointer. It's off, no good. And the rebound comes down to Hallie Christopherson. Over to Nikki Moody. Iowa State with the ball and the two-point lead. Moody to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie starts to drive the right side. Back outside to Kid Blaskowski. Kid into Hallie Christopherson. Ball knocked away and stolen by Martin. Martin back outside to Atkins. Atkins and left side to Johnson. Johnson back out to Bias. Bias over to Martin. Martin jumpers up. It's off, no good. And a rebound to Bryn Williamson. Over to Nikki Moody. Moody up the right side with it. Gets it off to Hallie Christopherson at the top of the key. Back over to Moody. Moody looked at the three, pulled it back. Gets it down inside. Back outside to Bryn Williamson. To Hallie Christopherson. Turnaround jumper up. No good. And the rebound to Martin for Oklahoma State. Martin up the right side to Atkins. Atkins out to Johnson. Johnson open the left side to Martin. Back to Atkins. Out to Tiffany Bias. Bias starts to drive. Takes it all the way in. Shot is up. No good. Rebound. Follow-up is good by Suttles.
Hallie Christopherson does a nice job of coming over and providing that help defense, but the next defender then doesn't come and step over and help out Hallie.
Tied at 14. 9:27 to go first half. Right side the give to Kid Blaskowski. Back out. Hallie Christopherson for three. It's no good. And the rebound comes down to Martin.
Cyclones ice cold from deep, 1 of 8.
The left side the give is to Atkins. Atkins down inside to Suttles, and she walks with the ball. And that'll take us to a time.
And we'll see if Fallon Ellis, maybe she can take advantage of her size a little bit on the inside, but it changes a little bit, doesn't quite have that mismatch now that Hallie Christopherson goes out of the lineup.
Shauna Johnson at the top of the key, hands it off to Nikki Moody. Moody back outside to Shauna Johnson, who goes into the lane, and a foul is going to be called on Bias. Shauna Johnson will go to the line to shoot for Iowa State. 8:57 to go in the half. Tied at 14. Free throw is up and good. That was a brick that went up in the air and came down through.
And I think she even shot it maybe to the right of the hoop a little bit, but she gets her to go.
Second free throw is up. This one is no good, and the rebound comes down to Donahoe. Iowa State's lead is 1, 15-14. Tiffany Bias to the front court for Oklahoma State. Off to Martin. Martin back over to Bias. Bias down inside. Turnaround shot is no good by Jones. Rebounded by Moody. Moody to the top of the key. Moody hands off to Jada Buckley. Buckley back to Shauna Johnson. Out into the corner. Back outside to Jada Buckley. Buckley drives the right side of the lane, goes in, whistle, and they call a jump ball. Oh, massive collision inside. Buckley's knocked to the floor, and they call a jump ball.
And that time we saw a couple of Oklahoma State players come off of shooters and sitting right in the lane and waiting.
12 seconds on the shot clock as Iowa State plays it in on the alternate possession. Outside it comes to Moody. That's down to 8 seconds on the shot clock. Moody drives into the lane, and she's fouled. And that foul is going to be on Brittany Martin. Nikki Moody will go to the line to shoot 2. 8:17 to go, first half. Iowa State up 15-14. Free throw to Moody is up and good. Allie Christopherson will check in. Cyclone basketball brought to you by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee, a proud sponsor of the Iowa State Cyclones. Nice hand for, as Iowa State, Fallon Ellis comes out of the lineup.
Definitely deserves it. 2 of 2 from the field.
Second free throw is good for Nikki Moody. Cyclones lead it 17-14. Tiffany Bias to the front court with it for the Cowgirls. Over onto the right side to Lecker. Off to Donahoe, back outside to Bias over to Martin. Martin left side to Lecker. Lecker gets it back to Donahoe. Out to Bias. Bias drives into the lane, underhands it up and good. Quick move up the left side of the lane by Tiffany Bias. It's 17-16, Iowa State's lead is 1. Moody to the front court with it for the Cyclones. Right side to Christopherson, back to Jada Buckley. Buckley starts to drive right. It's cut off now. She starts to go in, takes it in. Shot is up, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Oklahoma State. Tiffany Bias takes it in. Shot is up and good by Bias. And 2 times in a row she drove the left side of the lane.
Yeah, and Iowa State players just don't get back to stop her.
And the Cowgirls have, I think, their first lead, 18-17. Up by 1. Pass comes off Shauna Johnson out in the corner to Nikki Moody. 3-pointer is up, in and out, no good. Rebound Shauna Johnson, and she's fouled going back up for the follow-up shot.
I believe that'll be the second foul on Tiffany Bias. Nope. Oh, they're going to call on Brittany Martin.
So Shauna Johnson will be at the line to shoot 2.
Fouls. Leads the league in steals. Very good on the offensive end. Had a great freshman year.
Free throw is up, no good. Shauna Johnson.
Cyclone 6 of 9 at the line.
Second free throw to Johnson is up and good. Ties the game at 18. As Oklahoma State brings the ball up court. Tiffany Bias. Right side to Johnson, brings it back out to Donahoe. Back down on the left side to Bias. Shot is up, no good. And the rebound to Jada Buckley. Buckley up on the right wing. Puts it in to Allie Christopherson. Allie spins in the lane underneath, puts a shot up, but no good. Gets her own rebound. Follow-up shot is good. Nice second effort by Allie Christopherson. Puts Iowa State back on top, 20-18.
And Kendra Shuttle's not really a big shot blocker, but Hallie gives her several up fakes.
Outside Johnson with it. Over onto the right wing to Lecker. Back outside Johnson, three-point shot is no good, and the rebound run down over in the far corner by Suttles. And a charging foul on Oklahoma State. Lecker picks up the foul. LaShawn Jones checks back in, replacing Kendra Suttles. Iowa State with a 2-point lead. Nikki Moody brings it up court. Off to Johnson. Whistle, foul away from the ball. That's on Tiffany Bias. She picks up her second foul.
What number are we at?
And it will put Allie Christopherson at the free throw line to shoot the 1-and-1. Brittany Atkins is going to check in, and they're going to take Tiffany Bias out. Allie Christopherson to shoot the 1-and-1 for Iowa State. First one is up, no good. And the rebound comes down to Jones. And rare miss for Hallie.
Cyclones not exactly taking advantage of the foul trouble.
Left side the give is to Donahoe. Donahoe to Johnson, out to Atkins. Atkins launches a three-pointer and hits it. First three of the ball game for Oklahoma State and gives him a 1-point lead, 21-20.
Oklahoma State currently has 3 freshmen on the floor.
Moody to Shauna Johnson. Johnson drives right, goes in, shot is up, no good. And they're going to call a charging foul on Shauna Johnson. Johnson for Oklahoma State brings the ball up court. On the left side to Donahoe. Back to Atkins. Atkins over to Johnson. Back on the right side to Lecker. Back to Donahoe. Donahoe, turnaround jumper up. No good. And the rebound will come down to Nikki Moody. Moody. Up to the top of the key. Bounce pass down inside to Hallie Christopherson. Shot is up. No good, but a whistle and a foul. And Hallie will go to the line to shoot 2. Kid Blaskowski's getting set to check back in for Iowa State.
Will be the first foul on LaShawn Jones. 9 fouls already for Oklahoma State, just 3 for the Cyclones.
Free throw is up and good to Hallie Christopherson. Kid Blaskowski will check in. Bryn Williamson will come out.
Bryn Williamson definitely earning that break. She's been chasing Liz Donahoe all over.
Second free throw is up and good to Hallie. Iowa State back on top by 1, 22-21. Back and forth game. Which we knew this was the kind of game that was going to be that way. Johnson into the front court with it for the Cowgirls. Right side to Donahoe. Jumpers up, no good. And the rebound tipped around underneath, and the follow-up shot is good by Jones.
And there's
LaShawn Jones.
Yep, LaShawn Jones, one of the best offensive rebounders in the Big 12, averaging about 4 per game. That's it right there. That's her bread and butter.
Right side the give is to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie gives it back to Jada Buckley. Buckley. Off to Nikki Moody. 12 on the shot clock. Moody drives right underneath to Shauna Johnson. She has the shot blocked away. Back outside. Jada Buckley for 3. Yes, a well-marked three-pointer for Buckley. And it's 25-23 Cyclones.
Another scramble situation there. Oklahoma State had stopped Iowa State's first crack at it. Great spot up by Jada.
Atkins down inside. Shot is up. No good. Rebound to Shauna Johnson. Nice defense in there by Hallie Christopherson. Off on the left side to Nikki Moody. Moody back outside to Buckley. Buckley starts to drive in and is fouled. That's going to put Buckley at the free throw line. She'll be at the line to shoot.
Have any. Jada Buckley does not have any. That's a key, because if you're going to have turnovers in the backcourt, it would typically come from those 2 players. So nice job of handling that pressure so far tonight.
First free throw to Buckley is up and good. The second free throw to Jada is up, and it's good. And it's a 27-23 Iowa State lead with 3:58 to go in the first half. Front court with it is Roshunda Johnson. Over to Suttles. Suttles back on the right side to Johnson. Johnson to Donahoe. She went up for the shot. It was blocked. Came back down. Shot up. No good. And the rebound to Hallie Christopherson.
Cyclones have done a very nice job on Liz Donahoe so far.
Up the left side with it is Jada Buckley. Off to Kid Blaskowski. Kid bounced pass down inside, knocked away and turned over. Tried to get it inside to Hallie Christopherson. Johnson up the left side. Back outside to Suttles. Over to Donahoe. She goes in. Shot is up. No good. And the rebound to Bryn Williamson. Over to Jada Buckley. Buckley out on the left wing. Out to Kid Blaskowski. Kid puts it back to Buckley. Jada pulls it back out high with 16 on the shot clock and resets the offense. Buckley takes it out onto the right wing. On the corner to Bryn Williamson. Down inside to Hallie Christopherson. Turnaround shot is up. No good. And the rebound is pulled out of there by Suttles. Suttles up to Johnson. Johnson back on the left side. Back over to Suttles. Suttles tries to spin in. Back outside. Johnson with it. Johnson goes in on the baseline. Ball's knocked away by Kid Blaskowski. Loose on the floor. And a scramble for it. And Iowa State comes up with it. Fallon Ellis finally came up with the loose ball. The left side with it is Jada Buckley. Buckley to Kid Blaskowski. Kid over to Fallon Ellis on the right side to Bryn Williamson. Bryn drives the baseline. Underneath. Shot is up. No good.
We're going to call a charging foul on Bryn.
Second foul on Bryn Williamson. Nikki Moody will come back in. Bryn Williamson will come out.
2 fouls on Bryn. That's big. She's doing such a nice job on Liz Donahoe tonight.
Shunda Johnson into the front court with it. Gets it off to Donahoe. Back to Johnson. Johnson goes into the lane. Shot is blocked by Kid Blaskowski, and they're going to call a foul. Boy, I don't know. From my angle, that was all ball.
Well, the signal that Beverly Roberts gives to the scorer's table is that she got knocked in the head. So it really wasn't a matter of knocking her on the arm or not. Somebody got her on the head.
Free throw to Johnson is up and good. Shauna Johnson will check back in. Kid Blaskowski will come out. 27-24 Iowa State.
3 players for Oklahoma State out with 2 personal fouls.
Marisha Wallace checks in for the Cowgirls.
Cyclones now have 2 players on the bench themselves with a couple of fouls.
Second free throw to Johnson is up. It's good. 27-25. Cyclones with the ball in a 2-point lead. 2:05 to go in the first half. Nikki Moody brings the ball into the front court. Moody drives down the lane, takes it in. Shot is up, no good, but a whistle and a foul, and Moody will go to the line. Foul's on Wallace. Moody will be at the line to shoot 2 for the Cyclones.
First
A
time
minute 58 to go.
First time we've seen Marisha Wallace in this game. She's a junior for the Cowgirls.
The first free throw is up and good. Cyclone women's basketball is brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau, supporting your food and wholesome farmers who grow and raise it. Join our efforts at www.iowafarmbureau.com. Second free throw to Moody is up, and it's good. Back to a 4-point lead for Iowa State, 29-25. Front court with it comes Roshunda Johnson. Back over on the left wing to Donahoe. Pass down inside to Wallace, and she trips and falls, and they're going to call a foul on Iowa State. Fallon Ellis is going to pick up the foul.
You get Fallon Ellis for a reach-in here.
A lot of steps there, ref. A lot of steps.
Marisha Wallace will go to the free throw line. Minute 45 to go in the half. Free throw is up and no good for Wallace. 29-25 Cyclones. Second free throw to Wallace. He just came in about a minute ago. This one is up. This one is good. And it's 29-26. Iowa State with the ball in a 3-point lead. Nikki Moody to the front court with it. Moody out on the right side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie. Gives it back off to Moody. Moody takes it out onto the right wing, goes to the top of the key. 10 on the shot clock. Moody way on the left corner to Fallon Ellis. Back outside to Shauna Johnson, who drives into the lane. Shot is up, no good, but a whistle and a foul. That foul is going to be on Liz Donahoe. Her second foul, and Shauna Johnson will go to the free throw line.
13 of Iowa State's 29 points coming at the free throw line this half. Really doing a pretty good job of taking advantage of the way this game is being officiated.
First free throw to Shauna Johnson is up and good. Suttles will check in for Donahoe.
12 team fouls for the Cowgirls, 6 for Iowa State.
Second free throw to Shauna Johnson is up and good. 31-26, Iowa State with a 5-point lead with 1:17 to go first half. Johnson to the front court with it. Johnson on the left side to Atkins. Atkins, jump shot is up, no good, and the rebound. And that's going to be a foul. And it's going to send Nikki Moody to the free throw line. Lecker picked up the foul. And with 1:03 to go in the first half, Nikki Moody will go to the line to shoot 2.
That's also the second foul for Lecker. Head coach Jim Luttrell, he just wants to get to halftime here so he can get some of his other players back in the game. He's had several on the bench with 2 each.
Free throws up and good to Nikki Moody. 32-26 Cyclones. Second free throw to Moody is up and no good. And the rebound to Suttles. Pass comes right side to Atkins. Atkins, top of the key, three-pointer up and good. Atkins hits a three-pointer, and it's 32-29.
Atkins, nice little player for a freshman.
Iowa State's lead cut back to 3 with 43 seconds to go in the half. Moody gets it over to Fallon Ellis. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody into Hallie Christopherson. What was the call?
3 seconds in the lane here.
3 seconds in the lane called on Iowa State. And timeout is going to be called by Oklahoma State. And Donahoe's back in, all with 3 fouls. Bias will bring the ball to the front court. Bias is going to dribble it out high and hold it there. Shot clock's down to 15, game clock at 18. It is about a 3-second difference. As Molly said, Bias goes out onto the right wing. Gets it back to Atkins. Atkins over onto the left side. Donahoe, jump shot is up, no good. The rebound comes down to Fallon Ellis. Off to Nikki Moody. Moody quickly up into the front court. Launches one from center court. It's off, no good. And she might.
Fouls apiece.
Oklahoma State will have possession to start the second half. Pass will come in to Tiffany Bias. Bias, out to Martin, over on the left side to Donahoe. Donahoe back on the right side to Bias. Bias down in the corner to Brittany Martin. Back over on the left wing to Atkins. Back over to Martin. She walks with the ball. Turnover on the Cowgirls. Nikki Moody will bring it up court for the Cyclones. Moody, right side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie out at the top of the key. Puts it back outside to Nikki Moody. Moody on the left wing. Left side to Bryn Williamson. Up on the right side to Jada Buckley. Back out over to Bryn Williamson. Down into Hallie Christopherson. Hallie in the lane. Shot is up. It's off. No good. Rebound. Saved inbounds by Oklahoma State. Tiffany Bias up court with it. Bias at the top of the key. Bias over on the right side to Martin. Back out to Atkins, over to Donahoe, to Bias on the left side. 3-point shot up and good. Ties the game at 32.
Well, Tiffany Bias has been huge in this game for Oklahoma State. She scored 13 points to lead the way, to lead all scorers, actually.
Jada Buckley on the right side with it for the Cyclones. Buckley over to Shauna Johnson. Johnson back outside to Buckley. Buckley starts in, has the ball knocked away, and turns it over up the right side to Bias, and it'll be a wide open, easy layup for Bias.
And that's the first time we've seen one of those wide open layups for Oklahoma State off an Iowa State turnover in the backcourt.
34-32. Cowgirls with the lead. Shauna Johnson going into the lane, has the ball tapped away, and A turnover again on Iowa State. Down court with it is Bias. Bias to Donahoe. Donahoe turnaround shot is blocked by Bryn Williamson, and she comes up with the ball. Bryn with the steal. She has to pull it back out. The Cowgirls got back on defense. Over onto the left wing. Down inside. Allie Christopherson, turnaround shot is up. It's good. Basket counts and a foul call.
Great heads-up play there by Bryn Williamson. She gets the block shot on the defensive end. Great job in hustling back. Oklahoma State had numbers, but they didn't take advantage. Bryn gets the block shot. She goes the other way. Instead of forcing the issue with a one-on-two situation, she pulls it out. Cyclones run offense. They get a very high percentage look.
Free throws up and good to Hallie, and Iowa State's back on top by one, 35-34. Bias into the front court with it. Over to Atkins. Atkins out to Donahoe. Donahoe back on the right side to Bias. Bias cuts out to Atkins. Three-point shot is up, no good. And the rebound to Shauna Johnson. Over to Nikki Moody. Moody up the left side to Jada Buckley. Buckley back out to Moody, and she lost it off her foot out of bounds. Another turnover on the Cyclones. And the Cowgirls will play it up court.
And not a great pass by Buckley, but if it hits you in the hands, I'm a pretty firm believer that you could and should be able to catch it.
Suttles comes in for Jones for Oklahoma State. Tiffany Bias into the front court. Over to Atkins, out to Martin. Martin out the left side to Bias. Bias back to Atkins. Back over to Martin. Martin, free throw line jumper up. It's no good, and the rebound comes down to Oklahoma State. Donahoe with the rebound. Over to Martin. Martin, fall-away jumpers up. No good, and the rebound to Hallie Christopherson. Over to Nikki Moody. Iowa State with the ball in the one-point lead. Right side to Jada Buckley. Buckley out to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie hands it off to Bryn Williamson. She'll put up a three. It's off, no good. And the rebound to Christopherson. Underneath, shot up and good by Hallie Christopherson. Great second effort in there, and Iowa State leads at 37-34.
Hallie's been a beast on the glass. That was her 9th rebound.
Left side to Atkins. Atkins to Donahoe. Donahoe takes it in on the baseline. Shot is blocked by Bryn Williamson, but Donahoe got it back. Out to Atkins. Atkins back over to Bias. Shot clock's at 7. Bias back outside. Over on the left side, Atkins. Three-pointer up and good. Atkins nails a three-pointer and ties the game at 37. Nikki Moody to the front court for Iowa State. Moody from the left side to Bryn Williamson. Back to Shauna Johnson. Shauna down inside. Ball tipped away. Loose. Picked up by Jada Buckley. In the lane. Shot is up. No good. Rebound tipped around and controlled by Suttles for the Cowgirls. Up the left side. Bias. Bias out to Atkins. Three-pointer is up. It's good. And somebody's going to have to go out and put a hand in Atkins' face.
Well, Tiffany Atkins has been huge. Excuse me, Brittany Atkins. 12 points for the freshman. 4 of 8 from the floor. 4 of 6 from deep.
40-37, Oklahoma State. With a three-point lead, their biggest lead of the game. Moody, a three-pointer is up, short, no good, and the rebound to Donahoe. Over to Bias. Bias. Back to Donahoe, drives down the lane, shot is up, it's good. And it's a 5-point Oklahoma State lead. 42-37. Nikki Moody into the front court with it. Moody gets it off to Shauna Johnson. Back over the left side to Moody. Moody to Hallie Christopherson. Baseline jumper up. No good. The rebound to Oklahoma State. Bias up the right side with it. Over the left side, Martin. Jumper up and good. Oklahoma State's gone red hot while Iowa State has gone ice cold. And Bill Fenley wants a timeout. Bryn Williamson puts it in to Nikki Moody. Moody out onto the right wing. Moody, lob pass to Hallie Christopherson in the lane. Shot is up, no good, and the rebound comes down to Oklahoma State. Those are shots that Hallie rarely misses. Over the left side, Martin. Martin back outside to Johnson. Johnson takes the top of the key over on the right side to Bias. Back to Martin at the top of the circle. Martin gets it back to Johnson. Over to Bias. Down into Suttles. Suttles brings it back outside. to Martin. Martin spins into the lane. Shot is up. It's no good. And the rebound comes down to Nikki Moody.
Come on, wait.
Pass up court to Hallie Christopherson is tipped away out of bounds. Iowa State will play it back in, and that's going to take us to another timeout. Iowa State will play it in on the baseline. Pass will come into Moody. Moody out to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie has the ball knocked away and a whistle and a foul. And the foul is going to be on Hallie Christopherson trying to get the ball back.
And there's Tiffany Bias being a pest in the backcourt. Cowgirl switching so many screens. She ends up defending Hallie Christopherson out there. Not what Iowa State wants.
Johnson over to Martin. Ball's tipped away out of bounds. Oklahoma State will play it back in. Still have 22 on the shot clock. Tiffany Bias will inbound it. Pass in. It's tipped away but picked up by Martin. Martin drives left, underhands it up, off the glass and through. And it's a 9-point Oklahoma State lead. Moody to the front court with it. Moody over to Shauna Johnson. Back over to Nikki Moody. Moody. Back on the left side to Hallie Christopherson, who drives in. Layup is good. Nice move along the baseline by Hallie Christopherson. It's 46-39 Cowgirls. Right side Donahoe out to Martin. Martin over to Bias. Bias tries to drive in into the lane. Jumper up and good by Tiffany Bias. 48-39.
Tiffany Bias trying to do her best Andrea Riley impression. 17 points, 7 of 9 shooting.
Right side to give to Bryn Williamson. Bryn to Hallie Christopherson at the free throw line. Back outside to Nikki Moody. Moody at the top of the key. Starts to drive up the left side, and she's fouled. Tiffany Bias. Her third foul. Kid Bleskowski checks in for Iowa State. Iowa State will play it in on the baseline.
That's a big
30-second clock.
Big third foul on Tiffany Bias. She is the player who makes everything go for this Oklahoma State squad, and she's leading them in scoring tonight as well.
Moody will inbound it on the baseline. Into Bryn Williamson for three. It's off, no good, and the rebound comes down to Bias. Bias up the right side to Atkins. Atkins back outside to Bias. Bias over to Johnson. Johnson back to Atkins. Atkins back on the left wing to Johnson. Down inside, turnaround jumper's up, no good, and the rebound down inside is knocked away, and Oklahoma State comes up with the ball. Again, a lot of contact and no call in there. Driving in is Atkins, and she's fouled.
Well, Nikki Moody had tracked down the defensive rebound. She's just not quite strong enough with the ball there. Brittany Martin knocks it loose, and then out hustles her to the loose ball there.
Atkins will be at the line to shoot two. A 9-point lead right now for Oklahoma State. First free throw is in and out, no good.
Christopherson, Bleskowski, Williamson, all with 2 personal fouls apiece for Iowa State. Only 18 fouls the entire game for the Cyclones.
Second free throw coming to Atkins. It's up, it's good. It's a 10-point lead. First double-digit lead of this ball game. And it's Oklahoma State. Iowa State has not been able to do much scoring here in the second half. Front court with it is Moody. Moody off to Christopherson. Back over to Nikki Moody. Moody drives into the lane underneath. Layup is good. Nice move up the left side of the lane by Nikki Moody, and it's 49-41 Cowgirls. Tiffany Bias up the right side to Johnson. Johnson back out to Martin. Martin back over to Johnson. Johnson started in and pulled it back out to Martin. Right side to Johnson. Johnson goes into the lane. Foul on Kid Bless.
Free throw in the second half so far. That's pretty significant.
Bias will inbound it on the baseline. Into Martin, shot up, off the glass is good. Back to a 10-point lead, 51-41. Jada Buckley brings it up court for Iowa State. Buckley over the right side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie back off to Nikki Moody. Moody, lob pass to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie inside, shot up and good. 51-43.
And that was very fortunate. I thought Tiffany Bias missed that pass by about a fingernail.
Left side to give it to Bias. Fires it into Suttles, and traveling is called on Oklahoma State.
One of the few times Iowa State's been able to stop the Cowgirls this second half. They have done a nice job shooting over 50% from the field in the second period.
Moody up the left side with it for Iowa State. Moody. Ball's kicked away by Johnson. Iowa State will play it back in front of the Cyclone bench. Bryn Williamson will trigger the inbounds. Bryn gets it into Shauna Johnson. In the right corner to Jada Buckley. Buckley drives the baseline, takes it in underneath, gets it back to Hallie Christopherson. Shot is up and good. And it's down to a 6-point game, 51-45. That gets the crowd going on the right side. Johnson with it. Johnson back outside to Martin. Martin over to Bias. Back to Atkins. Back to Johnson. Johnson over to Tiffany Bias. Bias to Atkins. Right side to Johnson. Back over to Martin. Left side jumper up. It's no good. And the rebound is controlled by Oklahoma State. Driving in. Shot is up. No good. Rebound to Bryn Williamson, and she's fouled. That foul will be on Atkins.
Nice job by Bryn Williamson there securing the defensive rebound after Oklahoma State had already tracked down one offensive board on that possession.
Donahoe checks back in for Atkins. 9:47 to go. 51-45, Oklahoma State with the lead. Iowa State will bring the ball up court. Christopherson into Moody. Moody to the front court with it. Moody at the top of the key, starts into the lane. Back to Jada Buckley. Buckley gets it back to Moody. Whistle on a foul. Foul's on Johnson, Roshunda Johnson.
Oklahoma State bailing out Iowa State a little bit there. Jada Buckley got the basketball with 1 foot in the lane, didn't really have anywhere to go. Great job by Nikki Moody helping her out there and taking that handoff. Silly foul there for the Cowgirls.
Kid Blaskowski checks in for Nikki Moody. Pass into Kidd. And then left side to Buckley. Buckley back out to Blaskowski. Bounce pass into Hallie Christopherson. Turnaround shot is up. It's off. No good. Rebound controlled by Johnson for Oklahoma State. Johnson over to Bias. Bias fires a pass into Suttles. Suttles backs in. Underneath. Shot blocked by Hallie Christopherson. Back to Suttles. Follow-up shot is good. Nice block by Hallie, but it went right back into the hand of Suttles. 53-45. An 8-point lead for the Cowgirls with 8:58 to go. The left side with it is Jada Buckley. Buckley at the top of the key. Buckley drives into the lane, underhands it up, no good. Rebound, back out to Hallie Christopherson, and taken away by Martin, and a foul on Christopherson.
3 fouls on Hallie, that's a big one. She has carried the offensive load for Iowa State in the second half.
Oklahoma State will have the ball and the 8-point lead with 8:44 to go. Tiffany Bias into the front court with it. Over to the right side to Atkins, back outside to Martin. Over to Donahoe. Back to Bias. Bias to Johnson. Johnson on the right side to Martin. Martin, right side, jumper up. It's off, no good. Rebound tipped around. And it's out of bounds off Oklahoma State.
Unfortunate for the Cyclones there. There were 3 orange jerseys right in the thick of things surrounding Hallie Christopherson. They're fortunate there that Jones was not able to come away with it cleanly.
Front court with it, Nikki Moody. Moody drives the lane, puts it up off the glass, no good, and the rebound to Donahoe. Over to Bias. Bias into the lane. Shot is blocked by Buckley, but a foul is going to be called on Buckley, and Bias will go to the line.
And Bias so good in that one-on-one situation in the open court. Jada Buckley backpedaling, doing the best she can, but Tiffany Bias clearly in the power position, has the advantage in that situation. So good at getting all the way to the rim.
Bias at the line, trying to put her team back up by 10, but she misses the first one. 53-45, Oklahoma State with the lead.
Tiffany Bias shooting 76% the line this year.
Second free throw to Bias. Is up, it's good. 54-45. Christopherson into Moody. Moody to the front court with it. Hands it off to Buckley. Buckley out onto the right wing. Jada back around to the left side with it. Buckley goes into the lane, has the ball knocked away, and right into the hands of Donahoe. Off to Johnson. Fires a pass down inside. Turnaround shot is no good, but it was from a foul, and I think that's going to be number 4 on Hallie Christopherson.
It's a bigger one.
That's going to bring Fallon Ellis back in and take us to a timeout with 7:30
on the arc, but on the defensive end, they've done a better job as well. Picked off some passes, have gotten some easy baskets in transition.
Jones at the free throw line misses the first.
Cowgirls outscoring the Cyclones in points off turnovers, 9-3.
Second free throw is up. This one is no good. And the rebound comes down to Shauna Johnson for Iowa State, off to Nikki Moody. Moody out between the rings. Takes it out onto the left wing. Moody to Shauna Johnson. Johnson tries to drive into the lane, and she's fouled. That foul is going to be on LaShawn Jones.
Oklahoma State switching just about every screen tonight, and Cyclones haven't really been able to take advantage of too many of those mismatch opportunities.
Shauna Johnson will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 for Iowa State. First one is up and good. Second free throw. Shauna Johnson is up, and it's good. 54-47. Oklahoma State with the lead, 7:18 to go. Tiffany Bias up forward with it for the Cyclones. Over the left side to Donahoe. Back out to Martin. Martin. Brings the top of the key to Johnson, over with Bias. Back out to Martin. Martin spins in the lane, jumpers up and good. 56-47, up to a 9-point advantage for Oklahoma State.
Cowgirls have had knocked down big shots, have answered the call whenever Iowa State's closed the gap a little bit.
Moody off to Jada Buckley, to Shauna Johnson. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody starts in the lane, almost lost the handle on it, gets it back to Shauna Johnson. Johnson drives into the lane, shot up, off the glass, is good.
Johnson
56-49.
with a little runner outside the lane.
Left side, Johnson with it for Oklahoma State to Martin. Martin, left of the key, jumper up, no good. Rebound to Nikki Moody, and she's fouled by Donahoe.
Third personal foul on Donahoe.
16 fouls. Iowa
Cowgirls
State will play it up.
have several players with 3 fouls each, no players with 4. Of course, Hallie Christopherson with 4 fouls for the Cyclones. Coach Finley keeping her on the bench. She's provided a ton of offense in this second half, although Shauna Johnson stepping up a little more lately.
Front court with it is Nikki Moody. Out on the right side to Shauna Johnson. Back to Jada Buckley. Buckley to Moody. Back to Buckley. Buckley out to Bryn Williamson. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody starts to drive into the lane. Feeds it off on the left side and throws it away, trying to get it to Fallon Ellis. Another turnover in Iowa State.
The Cyclones with some 5-out action. Trying to use penetration. Oklahoma State's done a really nice job, though, of helping off of other defenders, or excuse me, other shooters in this second half, making that very difficult to get all the way to the hoop.
Martin over the left side to Donahoe. Donahoe out to Atkins. Atkins right side to Bias. Bias back on the left side to Atkins. Atkins over to Martin. Martin to Atkins at the top of the key. Atkins gets it to Bias. Bias drives into the lane. Shot is up, no good. Rebound comes down to Oklahoma State. And traveling is called on Tiffany Bias.
She misses her own shot, tracks down her own offensive rebound. Cyclones pretty fortunate there.
Nikki Moody to the front court with it. Cyclones trailing by 7. Moody out on the left wing. Moody at the top of the key. Moody drives into the lane. Shot is up. It's no good. And the rebound comes down to Liz Donahoe. Off to Tiffany Bias. Bias to Martin. That's outside to Atkins. Atkins over to Bias. Bias on the right wing to Martin. Martin bounce pass down inside to Suttles. Suttles hooks one up and through. 58-49. And Bill Finley wants a timeout.
In the first half, pretty good ball handling in the first half, and those things are totally different in the second half. As a result, Iowa State hasn't scored many points.
Nikki Moody will inbound it. Allie Christopherson is back in the lineup now. Shauna Johnson drives down the lane, puts a shot up. It's no good. Rebound Christopherson. Follow-up shot is good. Basket counts and a foul call.
A great job there by Hallie Christopherson. Following up that miss by Shauna Johnson. That's what Shauna and Hallie both need to do. Follow each other's shots, crash hard on the offensive glass. Yes, Oklahoma State is going to look to run in transition, but let Jada Buckley, Nikki Moody get back in transition.
Free throws up and good.
Maybe they can pick up a few more garbage buckets.
6-point game, 58-52.
This is when the Cyclones need the 10,500 fans in attendance.
Outside to give this to Atkins. Atkins to Bias. Bias over onto the right side to Martin. Martin to Donahoe. Donahoe back out to Atkins. Over to Martin. Martin fall-away jumper is good. 60-52.
Martin has been huge tonight. Huge, huge answers.
Pass off to Shauna Johnson. Johnson, left side to Hallie Christopherson. Christopherson back to Johnson. Johnson starts to drive in. Out to Bryn Williamson. Bryn back into Johnson. She takes it in. Shot up off the glass is good. Shauna Johnson scores 60-54. Oklahoma State by 6. 3.5 minutes to go. Iowa State needs a stop. Martin over to Donahoe. Donahoe to Tiffany Bias. Bias back out to Atkins. So over to Martin. Martin down inside. Ball knocked away. Out of bounds by Iowa State. Bryn Williamson knocked it away, and Oklahoma State will play it back in with 12 on the shot clock.
Great job of seeing man and seeing basketball there as Liz Donahoe made a nice little backdoor cut to the opposite block.
Tiffany Bias on the baseline will inbound it. Bias gets the ball in to Suttles. Shot is up, no good. Gets her own rebound. Follow-up shot is good. Basket counts and a foul call.
Cyclones fell asleep a little bit there
Foul
on the
Bryn
defensive
Williamson.
end. Fell asleep a little bit on the defensive end. Suttles gets a really good look at a bunny. She misses it. Follows her own shot. Cyclones just didn't box out the orange jersey.
Free throw is good, and it's back to a 9-point Oklahoma State lead. Nikki Moody up the left side with it. Moody to Bryn Williamson, back outside to Moody. Moody over to Bryn Williamson for three. It's off the mark, no good. Rebound to Shauna Johnson. Follow-up shot is no good. Rebound tipped out. Iowa State has it. Moody over to Hallie Christopherson. Back to Nikki Moody. Moody drives right, takes it in. Layup is good by Nikki Moody. 63-56. Tiffany Bias in the front court. And Oklahoma State wants to touch. Pass comes into Bias. Bias to Martin at the top of the key over the left side to Donahoe. Donahoe gets it back to Atkins. Atkins over to Bias. Bias, bounce pass down inside to Suttles. Back outside to Atkins. Atkins, fall away jumpers up. No good. And the rebound to Bryn Williamson. Over to Nikki Moody. Cyclones need a quick score. Moody up the right wing. Moody, way out on the right side. Still holding the ball out there. Over the left corner, Shauna Johnson for three. It's good. A well-marked three-pointer for Shauna Johnson. It's a 4-point game.
Wow, that's a huge shot for Shauna Johnson. Talk about confidence for the freshman.
63-59. Right side to give us to Atkins. Atkins, minute 37 to go. Out to Donahoe. Donahoe to Bias. Bias over to Martin. Martin back outside to Atkins. 10 on the shot clock. Back over to Martin. Martin puts a shot up. It's off, no good. The rebound to Nikki Moody. Moody up court to Shauna Johnson. Underneath, shot is up, no good. Foul called.
And I think Shauna...
She'll be going to the free throw line to shoot two. She says she's okay. .118 to go. .63-59. She can cut it to a 2-point game with a minute 18 to go. Free throw is up. Good. In and out and back in. 63-60.
Generous rim here at Hilton.
Second free throw to Shauna Johnson. It's up. It's in and out, no good, and the rebound comes down to Martin. 3-point game. Oklahoma State has the ball, and they want a timeout. A minute 13 to go. 26 Oklahoma State will inbound it. Pass into Bias. They're going to use as much of that shot clock as they can. Bias over to Atkins. Atkins back out to Martin. Martin out on the left side to Bias. Bias drives into the lane, runs in, shot is up, it's good. 65-60.
Two-possession game. Cyclones don't have to get a three, but they need to score quick.
Buckley over to Moody. Moody passes down inside, throws it away. Over the head of Hallie Christopherson, and Bill Finley wants a timeout.
So the players in the game shoot, other than Brittany Martin, shoot in the mid-70s up to the 90s.
Pass will come into Bias. Bias up court to Donahoe. Donahoe is fouled.
Definitely not the person you wanted to foul. She shoots 90% at the line.
Bryn Williamson picks up the foul. They'll put Donahoe at the line. Shoot the 1-and-1.
Now the good news is Liz Donahoe has not shot it well from the field tonight. This will be her first free throw. She's 2 of 10 from the field.
Free throw is up. In and out, no good. The rebound. Iowa State. Up to Nikki Moody. They need a quick one. Jada Buckley. Buckley over the right side to Hallie Christopherson. Hallie drives right, spins underneath. Shot is up. It's no good. Rebound underneath is controlled by Suttles. It's out of bounds off Iowa State. It'll be Oklahoma State's ball with 20 seconds to go, and they have a 5-point lead.
Cyclones still have 1 timeout remaining. Cowgirls with 2.
Pass inbounds to Donahoe. And they get a tie-up on Donahoe. And the possession arrows with Iowa State.
Cyclones have come up empty, though. Too many possessions in a row.
They have.
Got to score quick.
Looking. Gets it into Buckley. Out in the corner. Buckley starts to drive and is fouled. Martin picked up her 4th foul. With 15.7 seconds to go, that's irrelevant. At the free throw line, Jada Buckley to shoot 2. Free throw is up and good. 65-61. Second free throw to Buckley is up and good. 65-62. And they foul Tiffany Bias. The foul is going to be on Bryn Williamson. And Bryn has just fouled out. Kid Blaskowski will check in for Bryn Williamson. Tiffany Bias will go to the free throw line. 14 seconds to go.
Another 1-and-1 here. Bias shoots 76% on the year. She's been awfully clutch today.
First free throw is up and good. Hit the front of the rim and rolled over.
That's the big one. It makes it a 2-possession game. Bias has been huge. 21 points, 8 of 11 from the field. Now 4 of 5 at the stripe.
Second free throw is good. And Oklahoma State wants a timeout. 14 seconds to go. Iowa State has to figure out a way to
Find the mark.
pass will come into Moody. Moody quickly up the right side, off to Kid Blaskowski. Kid outside, shot is blocked and controlled by Oklahoma State. And foul on Kid. And that's going to pretty much do it. 5.5 seconds to go. They're going to send Suttles to the free throw line.
Oklahoma State switching almost all screens really all night long. Cyclones just weren't able to adjust as much as they needed to score enough points.
Suttles at the line. Free throw is up and good. 68-62. So the winning streak ends on this Saturday for both the men and the women. 69-62. Front court with it is Moody. Moody off to Christopherson, and that's it. Final score, Oklahoma